Welcome to Drill on Earnings. We have quarterly results out from Micron Technology's MU, that giant out of Boise, Idaho, one of the 50 most important companies in technology. The market does not know what to make of these results. I think they're very strong. So I'm going to take a look here a little bit deeper. I'm Cory Johnson, Chief Market Strategist for Epistrophy Capital Research. We look at the 50 most important companies in technology. This company, definitely one of them. The expectations were for less in revenue. They did $11.32 billion in revenue, better than estimates, better than $9.3 billion last quarter, a lot better than the $7.8 billion, if you want, a year ago, 46% year-over-year growth. This is a cyclical business, but we wonder about this cycle now because this is driven by AI, not by PCs. And this is driven by a special kind of DRAM. It's their high bandwidth memory that is used in data centers. It's very complicated memory. It's something different than Micron's ever made before, different than the world's ever seen when it comes to memory. It's a lot more complicated. It's built in a process that is a lot more stacked systems, if you will, of semiconductors all created the same moment here. There's never been anything like this. It's very complicated. Micron is selling it like crazy. Indeed, on the conference call, they said they're nearly sold out for fiscal 2026, which would be a year from now, which is amazing. So margins are getting better. Gross margins are getting better. Operating margins are 32% for this company. And we're used to the kind of the ebb and flow of these kinds of margins. But the question really is, how long is this cycle? When we read about OpenAI signing deals that go into 2030, or NVIDIA doing investments that go into OpenAI that go into 2030, when companies are talking about accelerating rates of spend going forward for many, many more years, we wonder how much better can it get for Micron? And indeed, for a lot of companies, how long will this cycle be? Usually the memory companies tell us, we can see when their inventory starts to build up and their operating margins start to come down, their gross margins start to come down. That's a sign of an end of a cycle. This one might go on for a very long time. So within their business, they gave us some new definitions of their products, which doesn't help model Excel geeks like me. But fundamentally, their smallest business, auto and embedded, their core data center business, find their cloud memory business so fantastic, 40% of revenues, and mobile doing quite well as well. And indeed, their newly defined cloud memory business, CMBU, is cranking $4.5 billion in revenue, $4.543 billion in revenue to be exact, way up from the just under $1.5 billion a year ago. That's their hottest business. It's doing quite well. And they are spending into this opportunity. So this company is spending so much more in CapEx than ever before, over $5 billion just in the last quarter. Sequentially, it's up 51% in a year-over-year business. So, this is bulldozers. This is building semi-cap equipment companies. This is the CHIPS Act money going to work here. So again, even sequentially, let's go over these results, right? So the cloud business I mentioned, up 34%, constrained by capacity. They want to grow more factories to do that. And of course, for their high bandwidth memory, where revenues grew to nearly $2 billion in the quarter, now at an $8 billion run rate, because 2 times 4 is 8. Even I can do that. You probably are doing the same math in your head. This is their cutting edge HBM4 process with bandwidths over 2.8 terabyte per second, pin speeds of over 11 gigabytes per second. So that's just how fast the information's coming in and out of those pins that are surrounding. If you ever see a picture of a maybe an NVIDIA GPU or an AMD GPU, you'll see the giant chips. These are giant chips the size of my very big hands, bigger than normal. I'm a tall person, but they'll be surrounded by these little stacks of memory, sometimes golden colored, on the semiconductor circuit board. And that's that high bandwidth memory conversing with the GPU at faster speeds than ever before. So a very strong quarter from Micron. Now the market's trying to figure this out. Stock up a lot, then sold off, now 2%, not a huge deal, but that's when the stock's up 78% in the last year. So let's take that into context. Fantastic run for Micron. So Sanjay Mehrotra, the CEO of Micron, talking a lot about this. And what I'm listening for here is not just the expenditures and CapEx. That's an old story from Micron. They got demand, they build some factories, they push some more stuff through here. There are fundamental changes taking place about what kind of company Micron is, what their engineers do, who they interact with, how much they have to work with industry more and more to develop what's coming down the chute years in advance. That's not what Micron's done in the years past, but that's what you can hear in the modern Micron, led by Sanjay Mehrotra, Here's what he had to say on the conference call as soon as the results came out today.
The value proposition of HBM continues to increase. And of course, as we talked about, HBM now in 2026, transitioning to HBM4. Micron, of course, well positioned. Market is starting to require even higher performances. And we today pointed out that Micron with our HBM4 will have the highest performance product with over 11 gigabits per second, and of course, highest power efficiency as well. So the specs of HBM are becoming increasingly more demanding, and which is exciting for us because we are very well positioned with these products. And this just means the value proposition of HBM just continues to grow. So we definitely continue to see strong long-term growth and very excited about all these various announcements of massive data center infrastructure spend. We have talked about trillions of dollars of spend over the next several years. And of course, memory is very much at the heart of this AI revolution. This means a tremendous opportunity for memory and certainly tremendous opportunity for HBM.
So there you have it from the CEO here, a very different Micron than we've seen in the past here and growing for this great big opportunity in the high bandwidth memory and into artificial intelligence. But what's it all mean? What's your big takeaway? What's the one number that tells you a whole lot? I'll tell you. But first, subscribe to this channel. Follow us here, whether you're on Spotify listening or even watching us on Spotify, on iTunes. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube. If you subscribe, we know you are out there. It helps us get access to the information. We want to help provide these reports to you in the future. So quick click for you means a big deal to me. All right. So Micron, Q4 results, fiscal Q4 for these guys, very strong quarter, $11.32 billion in revenues. That's up 46% over the $7.8 billion a year ago. Just a super strong quarter driven by high bandwidth memory that's going into data centers, and going into GPUs, very impressive. And they are building a bigger business, a different kind of business to grow into this moment. And the CapEx maybe is their biggest number. And maybe the stock being up only 2% after the numbers came out, even though it's up well over 70% in the last year. CapEx in context, they are spending 177% of their profits in CapEx in the last quarter. They are clearly spending for the future here. The CHIPS Act funding is certainly helping them do that. But this company is investing in a much longer cycle. You might not have seen Micron do this in years past when it was a short 2 or 3 year PC cycle. But now that they're growing into AI, this could go on for a long time. Micron's expenditures are proof of that. All right, thanks for checking out Drill Down Earnings. I'm Cory Johnson. Follow us on the socials at Cory TV on X, and of course, at Drill Down Pod on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. Catch all the latest from Epistrophy Capital Research.